we're back having our Marble Jazz experience, and now we'll be looking at number pattern. Two words make up this idea we're trying to build. On the one hand, we have number, and on the other hand, we have what? Patterns. A pattern suggests a system or an order I can recognize. The pattern suggests a system or an order I can recognize. It could also be a system or an arrangement I am supposed to decode. So those are the two things a pattern suggests to you. A pattern suggests a system or an order I can recognize. It could also be a system or an arrangement I am supposed to do what? Decode. Spell this word out well. Decode. To decode. Now, it means it's your responsibility to be able to decode it. And to decode it means that you are able to look at certain aspects, certain things float in your mind as you look at it. Now, what is number pattern? Number pattern talks about the arrangements. So number pattern talks about what? The arrangement or sequence of numbers. Define arrangement or sequence of numbers. So number pattern talks about sequence, arrangement of numbers in an order that is either known or must be found. That's what number pattern is. We're talking about the arrangement, the sequence arrangement of numbers in an order that is either known or must be found. That's what number pattern is talking about. So there is no particular rule here, but we can give you little knowledge or little ideas that can help you in number patterns. So let's go to hints in number patterns. So what are the hints? There are certain things that can help you in number pattern. Number one, the concept of factors. It could be a factor thing. Number two, it could be a multiple thing. You must know your multiples, you must know your factors. Number three, you must maybe know your perfect squares. Number four, you should be able to detect whether you are doing addition. So your knowledge of addition is important here. Your knowledge of subtraction may be required here. And sometimes you could have what? Division. And sometimes you could have multiplication. And finally, it may be a combination of one or more. So these are just hints that gives you an idea of how you can handle number pattern. If I tell you there's a particular pattern, no. It will be a big lie. It is, and just like in your primary school when you handle quantitative aptitude, as it's called quantitative reasoning here, you need to be when you learn a pattern, you store up. One of the best way we handle this in primary school, is to look at what is called try and error. You try this one. Oh, I think it's the answer. I think it's a pattern. You try it, and you'll be like, I didn't get it. What's happening now? You try. Then also, that's it. You try it again. It didn't work. Then you try another one. It works. Oh, okay. This is a pattern here. And what happens? You store it in your brain. So sometimes when you try to handle another problem, you remember that one. So let me first of all try whether that one are done is the correct one. That's how we handle number pattern. There's no well-defined rule to handle it, but just for you to be able to recognize your ability to recognize pattern. I use the word recognize. Your ability to recognize patterns is important in number pattern. And this is where you need to practice the most. You need to practice the most. So let's take some examples and then we'll try to decode what we ought to do. Okay, we have a question on the board, a class activity, and we have 5 questions there using letters A to E. And it said for each of the questions, will that not be S? Given in this class activity, find the next 4 terms of the number pattern or sequence. So let's see how that works. Now, can we decode a pattern? Look at this. I have 4. The next is what? 8. The next is what? 12. The next is what? 16. So I'm going to write this just to help you see what's happening. And then I'm going to put a bar here to tell me what is the movement. I discovered that this minus this is 4, this minus this is 4, this minus this is 4. Now, because I'm seeing 4 and 4 here, means that what I need to get in the next set of numbers will be to add 4. Is that not? Yes. So the next number will be what? 20. The next will be what? 24. The next will be what? 8. And the next will be 32. So that settles that. Now let's go to B. In B, I have 2, 5, 8. Let's pull this off. Okay, 11. Now, I put a bar. Would that be a bar now? Or a swing? Let's call it a swing. I put a swing. So this will be what? 3. Is that not? This will also be 3. Is that not? And this will also be what? 3. So it means I'm adding 3. But look at it. The pattern here is not. Although it looks as if it's the same, it's not the same. This pattern is more or less like multiples. This pattern here looks more like addition. Are you seeing the difference now? So it's a number pattern you'll be able to decode the difference between some of these things. So this will give me, so the next number I'm looking for will be 14, 17, 20, 23. Beautiful. So we're done with that. So let's go to the next one, C. And in C, we're told we have 1, 3, 7, and what? 13. So I put my swing again. Please, I always love to use the swing technique because it almost helps you in a lot of the problems with number pattern, but it will not always work. Hello? It will not always work. So when we get to solve, I will show you what you need to look out for. Look at this. 2, 4, 6. So what do you notice? To get the first one, I added 2. To get the second one, I added what? 4. To get the next one, I added what? 16. It means that if at this point I added 6, what will I add to the next one? 8. And that will give me what? 21. Is that right? After 8, I get what? 10. The next one will now be what? 31. After 10, I'll add what? After 10, I'll add what? 12. And that will give me 30. That will give me 43. After 12, I'll add what? 14. That will give me what? 57. Oh, we did that right. Okay, fine. So this settles this one. Now, another thing you should take note of here is this. Here, what you are adding will be the multiples of 2. To the first I add 2, the next I add 4, the next I add 6, next I add 8, next I add 10. So you see there's a pattern in the additions. You need to see all of this, and this is essentially quantitative reasoning. So you need to see the pattern as it comes. So that's for C. Let's go to D. Now for D, we have 1, 4, 9, 6. In this one, your swing will not work. Look at this very well. Look at this very well. If you look at that very well, you'll discover that we said when we wrote the hints, we talked about what? Perfect squares. Somebody say something now. Yes. Perfect squares. Good. So the next perfect square you have is what? 25. After 16, 25, 36, 49, and what? 64. Maybe you still don't see it. Let's take it a little backwards now and see. This 1 is taken as 1 square, 4 is 2 square, 9 is what? 3 square, 16 is what? 4 square. So this one will be what? 5 square, 6 square, 7 square, and 8 square. When you simplify all of these, you will get this answer here. So you have seen that when we talk about the hints for number pattern, we said one of the hints is to look at whether you have what? Perfect squares. Now, we come to E. I think this is what they call the Fenerbahce sequence or whatever, but I won't give you that so that I don't scare you from this work. Now look at this. Now, if you want what's happening here, you have 1. I'm seeing 1 again here. And I noticed a student was asking if this question was correct. It's very, very correct. Alright, now look at this. This is 1, 2. If you watch carefully, look at this. Please watch. It will give me this one. It will give me this one. It will give me this one. I see it. So 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. 2, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Yes. So add this 2, add this 10, you get this. Add the first 2, get the next. Add the next 2, get the one in front. So to get this one now, it will be what? This one here, to give me this one. This plus this will give me this. Now, to get this one, I will add what? And that will give me 5. To get the next one, I will say what? 5 plus, 3 plus 5. And that will give me 8. So 5 plus 8, that will give me 13. So add, so maybe I should fix the numbers as I get them so that you are, to get the next one, I'll add this 2. 21. To get the next one, I'll add what? So that is what you expected to get. It's called the Fenerbahce sequence. I think that's what it is called. So, and that is what you are going to get. So you're seeing different sequence. So what I would advise you to do, use pick any of these textbooks, and either you use New General Mathematics for JS2, which is our grade 8, or the Essential Mathematics. Pick any of them, and solve all the questions on sequence. It will really help you because number pattern is something that you master as a function of your practice. It's a very strange aspect of arithmetic. You need to practice it. As you practice different patterns, it helps you to, just like when you solve puzzles, the more puzzles you do, the more accustomed you are to handling questions relating to puzzles. So that's the size of our pack today, and we trust that you've really gathered enough knowledge on both our completion of the rules of divisibility of numbers and that of number basis. I'll see you soon. Mamu will return.